right, Akeem, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Chilling, man. Bigger beard.
You see, I got my little goatee, got my little
little
something.
goatee going on,
I
little goatee.
can't grow full one, but I could do this.
That's good. That's all right. That's all right. Um, yeah, a little backstory about me and you, man. We met in Spain playing baseball, and then became good buddies and hotel roommates, which is the ultimate sign of like a good friend on the team. If you guys want to like bunk together and shit like that, you, me, Danny, Tony. Yeah, those are good times. But yeah, like you're coaching right now, right? You're coaching
Yeah,
ball
coaching
players. Yeah.
here in Miami.
Oh, you're in Miami. Oh, I thought you were in the Virgin Islands.
Nah.
No.
Mm-mm.
Why not?
It's just there is no opportunity, and kids down there have a mindset of like nobody make it. Why should I think I'm gonna make it?
Mm.
So it's kind of like a dead case where people home, especially where I'm from, is like if it's not my idea, they're just not open for growth. Point blank,
Mm.
period. They're not open for growth.
You got a close-minded mindset.
Very close-minded. Is if it works, don't fix it. Like you can go on the island, and there's still companies or establishments that don't take cards. We're in the 21st century. There are certain places on the islands where you still see payphones.
And for being like a U.S. territory, that's very interesting to not see that adaptation.
It is considered a quote unquote island life. So everything is slow. That's why, you see on the commercials of the island, they say, take it easy, man. Because, America's is fast paced. We got to work, With them, everything, they take their time. Everything is just slow. And the thing is, they're just very close minded. That's all it is. And being us as young people, we try to go back with the tools that we've learned from mainland America. And to them, it's fair because I'm taking a job from them. So they dismiss you. And even when you tell them like, okay, I'm worth this, it was like, no, I'm not paying you that. But say a Caucasian or whoever the case may be, that's not from there, they're going to pay them that money. It's very backwards.
So the closed-minded mindset is why I went down to Miami, because there's a lot more open-minded attitudes out there.
Miami has its troubles, but anything in mainland America, you have an opportunity. You just have to work. And the most important is knowing the right people as well. Mm-hmm. Especially in this baseball world, man, it's like a mafia, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, it's so bad in South Florida. You can make one mistake, every coach is know about you. They don't even have to meet you. Once you have that bad reputation in South Florida for being a type of player, it carries you. Because South Florida and California are the hotbed of the best talent. If you can make a name for yourself where everybody knows you in that state, you're going to make it. So I won't say South Florida is closed-minded, but it's more of, how I would say, is culturally appropriation where everybody, like Miami's super diverse. You have your Haitian section, you have the Latino section, you have the African-American section, you have the wealthy section. So it doesn't really mingle unless you go to a place called Wynwood where it's a attraction. Like a downtown DC, a downtown Miami, gotcha. Where we come and party and whatever the case may be, but everybody has their own separate identities. Because you're gonna go to whatever what you're used to.
That makes sense. 100%.
That's like a ball player. We could be playing basketball, and you see a guy with some Oakleys, you already know. Oh yeah, he a ball player. He got some Oaks. He a ball player.
Yeah.
And you see his socks and you see that red clip. Oh, he a ball player. He might play softball, but he's some type of ball player.
Yeah, you can kind of tell just by the way that they carry themselves and walk. It's like, all right,
Exactly.
like it's a very interesting thing because if you're not in the sport, you would not even be able to recognize that. Same thing. I mean, I wonder if like dart players recognize each other. Like, oh yeah, that's a dart player. You know, they're like they're like commonly find them in the bar. The guy sitting down. It's like that guy could probably throw some fucking darts. But it's
True.
just, I think it's just like that the energy you pick up as well as like the mannerisms. So like with all that diverse group you have going on in Miami, talk about some of the kids, as you call them, your young pups. Some of the kids that you teach for hitting, correct?
Yeah, well, I have a Caribbean kid, white kid, Latin kid. I Whoever want to work with me, man, I'm open for anything. I always like to converse. I always like to sharpen my. I like to steel sharpen steel. I always like conversation, even if it's an ignorant person. That's a challenge for me. So I've I've coached guys whose father's not around, especially with this pandemic. Some kids, they literally don't have food at home. So like, I give you this one story. This one kid, he came to me probably like 3 days ago. He's been with me for like 2 years, but he's a very prideful kid. He has problems at home, but it doesn't weigh him down. Baseball is like his outlet.
Mm.
And like, I think it was last week, Thursday or Friday. I think it was last week, Thursday. I remember he came in to the gym and he was like, oh, I don't have any food at home I haven't eaten like in 2 days. I'm like, what? So, my whole thing is me as a coach, to me, that's my responsibility. I'm not the richest guy in the world, but you know, that's why we see African Americans, because they come from those type of backgrounds. That's why they go steal. But nobody never understands why he went to go steal.
Mm.
So I've dealt with that situation. I've dealt with another kid where he never played ball a day in his life. And going to the private schools here, like I said, this baseball thing is the mafia. So basically, the high school coaches don't really make a lot of money. So they implement travel ball, well, fall ball. And that's how they make their money. And they take that same fall ball team and go in the summer. And it's kind of in a sense where if you don't play for my team, if you're not a big name and you don't play for my team, where you put money in my pockets, you're not going to make the team. So I had this one kid he wasn't really that good. And he had a triad over 210 kids at a private school. And he ended up making it. And, you know, he didn't really get any playing time and, stuff like that. But he ended up playing summer ball. But the thing is, with these kids nowadays, because of social media, they think it's so instant. Everything's instant. And I always tell them, nobody posts their failures, bro. Nobody posts their failures. You just got to keep working and maintain your own lane. I said, have you ever seen a track meet where someone looks left and right? What normally happens to them? They lose, right? So I always tell them, focus on you. Maintain your lane. So now,
So what is it
even
that
though
you do to like really help them align with that mindset if they're having struggles with it? Because
so,
that's what we wanted to talk about was like the growth
so
mindset. Yeah.
so now he will come to me like, Coach, I'm not getting any playing time, this and that. I said, this is your development stage.
Mm.
I said, don't think about the now. Think about the future. They should be motivating you. I should be seeing you in these cages every day. So now it's my job as a coach to realign them, to put them in that lane. Because anything in life that you want, man, it's not going to come easy. You're going to cry.
100%.
You're going to get frustrated. You're going to want to quit. But the thing is to motivate them, take that negative into a positive, to want them to do it every day again. Now he ended up playing summer ball and getting his first D1 offer, his first year playing high school ball.
That's awesome, man.
So my job is to always keep them on track and ask questions because, you know, as adults, we normally say, do this, do that. We never give them an opportunity to speak.
Right.
How
The
do
question, yeah, the question phase is very important because I mean, we were talking a little bit before we started, but you have to approach each player differently because they are in fact differently. And that's where I see like the questions coming into being a huge component to understanding their current experience so that as you're walking through with them in their experience, you can understand where their pain points are at, where their growth points are happening, and they feel like you're walking with them as well. And that camaraderie is very, very important for development. And I've been like doing like a lot of personal work with growth mindset as well. So what I've done, what's helped me is like switching it from, oh, I have to do this, I have to practice, I have to practice. I've been looking at it more as I just need to gain more experience. Like the more
it takes
experience that I
10,000
gain with it.
hours to become a master of your craft?
Can you repeat that?
It takes 10,000 hours to master any craft.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
too.
for you, in your mind, when you go through that situation, you have to visualize a piggy bank. And 10,000 is the prize. So even though you did just a little bit to get to that point, you have to that day of you say moving towards that goal, that's change in the piggy bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got to visualize it. It's all about visualization.
Finding your why. Like we learned that in like my sports psychology classes. It's like you got to find the purpose. They say like there's this thing called a mission statement, which is just like a statement that you got to write down for yourself. That's gonna, no matter what you're experiencing in that current moment, like you can always refer back to that mission statement to get you back on track. So it's like the underlying thing is like finding that why as to why you're doing what you're doing, because that's the emotional response that'll carry you through.
Have you ever read a book called The Five Love Languages?
I have not read the book. No, I've done the tests on the internet.
Huge thing when it comes to kids and just people in general. Now you can understand people a lot more. That's where it goes back to. I can yell at one kid and it motivates him, but I have to talk softly to another kid and ask him questions. Now, with the 5 love languages, is it touch? Is it words of affirmation? Is it, or whatever the case may be, physical touch, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the same things we're talking about is along those lines. You know, that's like, you know, say with a woman, you know, some women like to be touched. Some women like to be talked to. You know, everybody has their thing. So it's the same thing with kids. That's why me as a coach, I have to figure out what motivates and what's their love language that's going to stick out compared to other people.
Yeah, 100%. My first internship with, his name is Dean Herbert, I believe his last name is, but he went through his assessment phase with me. And what he starts off with is he figures out which kind of learner the athlete or individual is. So he's like kinesthetic, visual, auditory. And those, he figures that out so that he can curtail his information to align with that type of learning style. And that reminded me of like what you were talking about with like the love languages. It's like, if you understand how that kid's learning it, does he learn by you demonstrating it? Does he learn by you sharing the information with him? Or does he learn by actively trying to practice?
Exactly. Would he be considered as a mental coach?
Yeah, he's a mental skills coach. He's not a sports psychologist. He doesn't have a PhD. So that's the technical part of that side. It's like if you have to have a PhD as well as the license to practice within the state to be considered a doctor, or to be considered a sports psychologist. But if you just have a master's degree in certifications, then you're under the title of like mental skills coach or mental performance coach, whichever you want to call it.
And believe it or not, a lot of athletes are using mental coaches. And what kills me, especially in this baseball world, everybody talks about the physical of learning how to swing, how to do this, how to do that. Nobody talks about the mental.
Come on, it's starting to become
what
it's
is
starting to
your
become
approach?
taboo.
Exactly. It's like, what is your approach?
Mm.
How can you accept failure? How can you channel your emotions? How can you leave that bad game on the field? How do you react when you strike out?
Mm-hmm.
Not understanding a smile. What is it? I think I read a smile going into a meeting and just smiling. You have a 30% chance of winning that person over just by smiling. Not even saying anything, just a smile.
Mm-hmm.
But see, people don't think that way. And I was explaining to this one guy that I worked with the Padres earlier. I said, look at every great hitter in the league. Every time they strike out, they smile. Just check it out. Whether it's Mike Trout, Bellinger, Miguel Cabrera. Look at all the top guys that hit. Even when they're walking back, they'll look to the umpire like,
Yep.
come on. See, you know that.
100%, dude.
See people see things, but they don't really study it. That's the thing. So I just kind of laugh at like a lot of these coaches that just teach hit the ball when this game is on like 93% mental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that those elite athletes have mastered the growth mindset. I think, and the reason why, like you're saying it right now, it's like they're smiling after they strike out, or they get a bad call for like a strike three call that's like low in the dirt or high away, whatever, and they just smile. Why is that? Well, because they're learning right there in that moment. They're like, okay, shit, like, all right, well, that didn't work out well for me. They're not taking it personally because they've adapted to establishing that growth mindset, not just in the moment, but like as a whole. As a whole, they're like, okay, like how can I continue to grow right here? Where did I mess up at? They're just analyzing themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that's what the minor leagues are for. It's to separate the strong from the weak. There's a reason why they're in these shitty ballparks. There's a reason why they're in these armpit towns of I don't know. In
taking 15-hour bus rides in between games.
Exactly.
You want to see who's mentally strong.
Understand that. Are you going to be mentally strong and perform and get out of here? They're just going to whine and complain.
Yeah.
That's all a test. That's why there's first rounders that don't even make it to the professional level, to the major leagues. I told my one kid, you do know there was 23 guys selected over Mike Trout, right? And only 2 made it. And he was like, I said, yeah, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
100%, dude. So with those kids who are being focused on starting well, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to hear some like examples of when you've talked with your kids and they've been like, hey, like I'm struggling with this and I want to be more consistent on the field. So the psychological aspect, how do you walk through that process with them to really teach them about, hey, like the growth mindset is better in the long term because that's what we want to focus on?
The best thing for me is to give examples. I show them YouTube of like great players of Gilbert Arenas, where he talks about he went in the second round. And I think in his second year, he came like the most improved player in the league. And then the third year, he was like one of the best in the league. He went from Boston Tail in Arizona. Then because of his mindset, he's the shit or whatever the case may be, then he went in the second round. Then it was disappointing. He wasn't even starting because he was a rookie. They didn't get that much playing time. And he said, even though he wasn't getting any playing time, He was putting up 1,000 jump shots a day. So don't look at the how I should say, the moment that you're in. What are you doing to get better? I said sports is a revolving door, man. It's gonna get to a point where they call your number. Are you ready? And if you choke, whose fault is it? Because you wasn't ready. The ball is in your court. So instead of me just saying things, I give them examples. I have them look at Mike Tyson videos of, his mindset, his ego. Like we was watching this one video where he says when he's boxing, he gets aroused. He literally gets aroused because he said this is his happy place. And, I kind of filter it in that route and said, do you feel that way? Are you that inspired to work this hard? Or I showed them the Lenny Cook documentary. Are you familiar with Lenny Cook?
I am not, no. Please share.
So Lenny Cook was rated higher than LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. He was the best basketball player. But because of him not wanting to listen, he felt like he was a grown man already. So instead of going they would show him an ABCD camp, everybody doing push-ups and sit-ups and running, and he's like this. Man, I ain't doing that. I tried 30 last night.
Just standing there with his arm crossed. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of his discipline, his lack of discipline, I should say, he ended up getting hurt and never made it to the NBA. Now he's a fat alcoholic. Now he has to watch all those guys that he used to bust them up in ABCD camp, AAU. Now all those guys are where they at because why? Yeah, they wasn't better than him, but they continued to work.
So do you really practice like accountability with them too? Because I've was like seeing like a theme of like accountability.
Absolutely. It's to the point now. But see, I kind of do the Jedi mind trick. I can have an annoying voice. So I make my voice in an annoying form where it's so annoying. I say, you want to hear my mouth? Do what you got to do. Now it's just a muscle memory because it's so annoying. Let me just do what I got to do so I don't hear his voice. Now, not understanding when they get older, when they go to college, they get on a professional level. They've been doing this for so long. And all those guys who are trying to be mature to get on that level, you're going to surpass them because why? You already been doing your work. Now you're closer to 10,000 hours compared to those other guys who are talented and think that they're the shit. And because of their attitude and lack of being coachable, they're going to get kicked out. And guess what? When that opportunity falls in your lap, you're already prepared. Because why? You've been working already.
Been working on the mindset for 10,000 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So you do the Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, that's huge. That continuously practicing, like consciously practicing, like, all right, like I got to do what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. It's what I found with my experience with it was breaking away from the emotional attachment of I don't want to do this.
Absolutely.
Because when you are inside of that emotional attachment of like I don't want to do this, I realized that I was a victim to my own bullshit. Like I was like I don't want to do this. Like this emotion popped up. I don't want to do it. So I mean I can't do it. I really can't because I'm feeling this way. There's no way in fuck.
You're a slave to your feelings.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And like consciously practicing those 10,000 hours of like, all right, like I'm going to do this today regardless of how I'm feeling. Like I'm going to acknowledge how I'm feeling, notice that it's present, and then here we go, back to the grind, doing what I got to do, gaining my experience.
True.
So like with the professional mind you were talking about, with them going into like the professional field, do a lot of these guys want to play ball professionally, or are they only doing it for a little bit?
All of them wants to be a professional. And there's an opportunity. Like I have this one kid, he threw 95 in the 11th grade. But the thing is, he was ridden like a horse by his coach. He ended up getting, what is it? Tendinopathy. It's like a higher version of tendonitis. So
Oh.
basically, when he throws, so basically, he used to throw here instead of being here. So
Mm.
instead of being here where his scap and shoulder can support it by using his hips and the lower half, he was all here. So
Mm.
now instead of being here, all this shoulder and the tendon was exposed. So imagine under a premature, underdeveloped 16, 17-year-old throwing 95, what you think is going to happen with those baby tendons?
Yep. He doesn't have enough strength to support that at all.
Exactly. That's why Tommy John is so, everybody has Tommy John now. So
Overwork. It's just like an overworked thing at such a young age. Like,
exactly. Now he's finally throwing after 2 years. And his coach just try to like dust him off to the side. But the thing is, he one time I seen him like it's the same kid who didn't have any food. And he came to a practice late because he had to wait for his mom to come home to give him gas money. And he lives probably like 37 minutes away from the field. And, soon as the coach came, he just started bitching at him. Like, oh, you're fucking late, da 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 da. And that's where it goes back to. And he embarrassed him in front of everybody. And that's where coaching is a skill that people don't understand, and where it goes back to. Instead of you belittling him, he already has problems at home. Hey, man, let me talk to you right quick. Why are you late?
yeah.
You do know by you
Respect
coming
him
late.
first. Yeah.
Exactly.
You gotta respect him first. 100%,
And
man.
he was balling on the field, and I pulled him to the side. Hey, come on, man. Come on. I can't hear you talk. You take a deep breath. Stop crying. Talk to me. Now all that rage and hate, now I flipped it and said, man, this should be your motivation to get up every morning. Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. I'm here with you. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do? Now this kid is always on time. This is my day, 6 a.m. He's there before me. We work from 6 to 7:30 working out, and he goes to school and come back and hit for 3:30 until 5, 6 o'clock. And we've been doing this for months. Now he's on track to go back to college on a full ride. So it's like I said, it's all the Jedi mind trick. It's all the Jedi mind trick. And
Yeah,
they all
building
have,
rapport with them, man. Yeah, you definitely got to build rapport with them.
and this is an example. And I said he hasn't been playing for 2 years, but the work that he's been doing, I think it was last year summer, the Cincinnati Reds scout called him. He's like, hey, Mike, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing pretty good. I just been ailing an injury, just, trying to get back and whatnot. He was like, yeah, no, I seen. I was like, but he doesn't post anything on social media. How does he know? But I would post things about him on social media, like his exercises and stuff like that. And then when we got off the phone, I explained to him, I said, see, that's the universe awarding you for the work you've done. You got to understand that it's bigger than you. Now you have them thinking. By me telling them that plants a seed in their mind. Now, even though he may not have the money and resources, the fact that he's working, I end up meeting a guy at my job who's a doctor in physical training, and I was willing to train him for free and rehab him for free. But where it goes back to, if you never had the capacity of just trusting the process, this would have never happened. This opportunity would have never felt in your hands.
So with you being so present with them on and off the field, while they're on the field and you're on the sidelines, like if you're watching them, like how how do you work with them for in-game mindsets? 'Cause, I mean, you and I can both agree that practice mindset and in-game mindset are two different dynamics.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you work with them on transitioning your Jedi mind tricks, as you like to call, and your annoying voice
So,
to where they're autonomous?
I make practice hard. I make it uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So, as we know, the mound of the hitter's plate is 60 feet, 6 inches. So, what I do, I get to about 25 feet and I front toss super hard. So, now by me front tossing super hard in a close distance, I make him having that reaction of being quick, always fast, quick reaction. And I'm challenging them in a game like situation. If I know you can't hit the inside, I'm gonna throw like 4 balls in there, then give you a beach ball down the middle, and I'm gonna go back inside. I'm gonna make it hard on you. And so, even on Sundays, I would normally throw to them myself. But I have pretty good pitches where I might not throw 96, but I'm gonna mentally I'm gonna talk so much trash. I'm gonna talk so much trash. But see, that's my way of getting them out of focus. I might not throw 96. I might get it to 85, 86, if that. But I'm going to throw you a nasty curveball. I'm going to throw you a nasty slider. I'm going to throw you a changeup. And it's better than the average high school guys. So now by me being in a shorter distance, I'm picking up the speed. You're being quick. So now when we go to 60 feet, 6 inches, I'm actually throwing at you. So now when you're seeing minor league type pitches in practice, and I'm talking junk, and I'm trying to get in your head, whatever you see in the game is a lot slower because they don't have as much break. They don't have as much run. It's not as fast because by me cutting off the distance with the front toss in a short distance, I'm actually slowing your eyes down. Because why? I've accustomed you to being reading the ball so short. Now you see it longer. It's way longer now.
So when you go to their games to watch them, how well do they do?
And
how much do they talk to you afterwards? Like, do you guys talk after the games?
The funny thing is, I don't like going to the games. I'm kind of like I'm like superstitious of like I'm gonna be like over coaching like what you doing, man? So I just don't even go to the games.
Fair enough. Do you guys do like debriefings? Like, say they have a game, they come back and it's practice time. Do you guys talk about that?
Of course, it's like, as we all know, hitting, pitching is all a feel. You can't really teach
it's a flow, man. It's a fucking flow.
You can teach the mechanics, but that's why the big leagues is different. Or baseball, everybody swings different. Everybody pitches different. Everybody have different grips. What is comfortable for you? So like one of the same guys, like I was telling you about, who got his offer to FIU, he hit over 400 in the summer at perfect game. He was like, Coach, I hit 400. I'm like, okay. You surprised? You see the amount of work we was putting in every Saturday and sometimes Sundays? Are you excited? I expected that. Now this weekend, he's a 16-year-old playing at 18U, and he went like 4 for 9, hit over 300. And he's going there again this weekend, but I had to pull his coattail. He was like, in the last tournament, he was like, yeah, I hit 400. And I was like, okay, I don't see you at the cages like how you was. I said, don't forget, 2 years ago, nobody wanted you on their team. Don't forget that. You hit over 100, like 100% more, but I need more. He just looked at me and was like, I got it. Now I see him every day.
Do you encourage them to practice that same mindset with baseball in their real life as well? Have you
Absolutely.
seen the transition for them? Like,
But see, I actually learned that from Coach Banks.
oh
So,
yeah,
so normally,
Road to Blue
because
Devil, shout
after
out.
every game, after every game, you guys normally play either poker or just drink beers.
That's right. Yeah.
But sometimes, even though I'm not a cards player or poker player, I'll just be there just to watch. So with me, I normally just take the guys and we go get something to eat and we just talk about girls, just talk about different things instead of being baseball 24/7.
Mhm.
Then I explain to them, baseball is just a tool. This still goes on in life. The more you do something, the easier it becomes.
Mhm.
So now it's an avenue where they want to talk to me about girls, decision making of schools, personal life. They always come to me now because I gave them that dialogue. I'm not oh, y'all kids don't know what you're doing. I learn things from them as well too.
100%,
But you
man.
have to be a two-way street. That's why I said, man, Coach Banks is one of the dopest coaches. I've learned so much from him. He doesn't even know.
One of the greatest coaches. You know, you have a really good coach when you don't remember your coach being there.
That's true.
You
That
know what
is
I'm
true.
saying?
And he
That,
always gave you the wiggle room of doing what you want to do, but get it done.
get it done. Yeah, exactly. He gives you the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to do, but you know that I'm going to expect this result. I don't give a shit how you go about getting it. Just fucking get it.
Exactly.
Which like literally supports what we were talking about earlier with you talking with your young pups individually as a person, whoever they are, so that you can walk with them with that relationship as like the coach and student and continuing to go through that growth mindset as they're developing because that transitions into life as well.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, dude. Anything else you want to talk about, brother? We're just about done here.
Man, you could talk about anything, man. What about you? You asking me questions? How you been, man? I know you
Good.
had aspirations of like playing ball. Did you put it down?
So, yes, as a whole, I did. I don't want to continue to go towards pro ball. The reason why is I started to stagnate and not have fun. I got
That's
like
the same thing with me, man.
I
Like,
got burnt out, man. I was just like, you know what, dude, I feel this starting to get really emotionally heavy for me to the point to where I would go throwing and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like I really don't want to do this. But the
the
guilt
love
of
is
like,
gone. The love is
huh?
gone. The love
See,
is gone.
and the crazy thing is that once I made the decision, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to continue to pursue pro ball. I just want to still play because I love throwing and I love the game. Now I still throw about once every week, and I'm just fucking so stoked to just have that time to myself, which is something I never thought I would be a part of. Just playing just to play, because I was like, all right, that's just for fucking quitters, whatever. But
Mhm.
now that I'm in this position, I'm like, dude, like, I'm really glad that I can just play this without having to be stressed out about my performance. And funny enough, like, I'm actually throwing fucking harder and better than I was beforehand.
That, that's
So,
how that's how it normally happens. Because I was helping this guy that just got signed to an independent ball team, and he paid for me to play on his team as like working out because we have tight chemistry when it comes to baseball. Because I play center field,
yeah.
but what happened? We worked together on the same facility, and we had top prospects where Boston Red Sox first rounder like 2-3 years ago signed for like 2.3, and you got another guy that signed for 1.8. He was the Mets Player of the Year last year that I work with now. So it just happened where, hey man, can you come catch us? I was like, all right, cool. But he doesn't throw 95, where he doesn't have stuff where it's gonna blow you down. But me being, I would like to say, a master of this craft, I'm looking at this guy's hands, I'm looking at his feet, I'm doing waist pictures. I want to see his tendencies. I'm doing all of that. In a nutshell, first and second round picks out of probably 10 at bats, both of them had one hit. And it was by mistake. And then after that, that dude was like, bro, you gave me new perspective on my stuff. We cooking. Ever since then, it's.
Yeah, man. Like the attachment with the numbers is just I've learned it to be just fucking bullshit. Even the media, like Sports Center and stuff like that, like they still I mean the guy who just threw the no-hitter for the Cubs recently, right? The guy was a walk-on for fucking college. Like I think he was in the minors like 7 years or something like that. I could be misquoting that. But then now like he just threw a no-no for the Cubs and like this is like his first year in the MLB. So it's like it doesn't fucking matter the numbers going into it. It doesn't matter, dude. They still got to fucking hit it. You still have to throw the baseball. And that even more further fucking supports like our conversation earlier with it's all between the ears. Like you said, like it's 94% mental, which it is because a first round draft pick can be nervous as fuck at the plate and not play well. Or you got a 36 round pitcher who's top in 92, has good command with his stuff, and just completely makes that first round look like a 36 round.
And that's why I always tell my guys, I never want to play against somebody who has nothing to lose because he's going to give me a run for my money. That's the worst thing you can do. Playing someone or a team that has nothing to lose because they're going to leave it all out. Prime example, look at the Clippers. Prime example, Nuggets, first team in history to come back off a 3-1 twice and win. They have no expectations. And what happened to the Clippers? They got stomped.
True. Very true.
So like I always tell them, man, like this baseball thing is hard, man. This thing is hard. You have to know the right people. You got to be in the right place at the right time. And just like you, man, like I enjoy the sport, but me playing it, oh, man, it's like an ex-girlfriend, bro. I hate it. Like, I hate playing. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, the same picture I was telling you about. I went to the practice and I hit a home run. And to me, I was like, oh, okay. He was like, bro, you can rake. I'm like, okay. Like, I really don't love playing anymore. I really hate it. Like, I'm dead serious. I really hate it. But I love teaching it.
Yeah.
I love teaching it.
Beautiful, man.
But that's why I had to ask you, because it's like a lot of us, it's like the same. Because you know deep in your heart, like what it is. If you know you had the opportunity, cool. At the end of the day, you know you can sleep at night. I done played against the guys at Vanderbilt. You was there. You was there when we was facing those guys from Vanderbilt. I was putting them on the fence.
Yep.
So it's like, I just don't care anymore, man.
Yeah.
I done moved on.
Once I realized that there's more opportunities to make money other than becoming a professional athlete, which for me was an identity thing growing up. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a pro ball player. Like, no and if, buts, or buts about it. That's where my direction was. And then once I got to ASU to the walk-on trial and didn't make it, that's where I was like, holy shit, okay, what the fuck's going on here? I've always been able to walk on to teams, play ball, no fucking issue.
Program.
Big
Huge.
program. Big program.
Huge.
Yeah. So once that like hit me in the face, like, oh shit, like this. So it's not just that easy. And then my journey with like X2 for a little bit. But once I realized, like, to finish this off, once I realized that I could make money in other avenues of life, that really alleviated the burden with not becoming a pro athlete and just reallocating my resources to really getting better at something.
And let's be real, what is the percentage of actually make in all professional sports? What is the percentage of making it to the highest pinnacle? It's very little.
Yeah, it's like I think it's less than 1%, something like that. Yeah.
That's why baseball has so many rounds. Soccer, basketball is only 2 rounds. How many colleges are there? There's only 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, man, when you can find something that makes you happy in other avenues, it's all that matters.
Yeah,
Especially
bro.
the military, man.
Yeah.
Happy, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
all things going to head, like,
I
I'm
know, dude.
like you're laughing because you understand
Yeah, I do,
exactly.
bro. I do, man. Like I think you and I had the same mindset, or like same outlook on the military. It's just like yeah, I'm here for a little bit, and then I'm on my way out. Like once I got in, I was like, okay, cool. Like it's not too bad. I know that I'm here for college and stuff for me. And then once I was like in the groove of it, I mean, you were in there longer than I was, but once I was like in the groove of the military, I just realized like, dude, it just feels like fucking Groundhog Day. Like, yeah, yeah, but for fucking sure I'm getting out. And like, I mean, we just laughed for like a minute right there because yeah, it
Yeah,
feels
we
good to
did.
be out. Yeah, it feels good,
Bro,
man.
one of my homies just came back from a deployment. 8 months they did not see land.
Fuck that.
That is torture. 8 months without seeing land. I don't care how much money you can save. It could be $1 million. No.
Hmm.
Freedom, peace of mind, all of that, man. You can't buy that, man. You
Hmm.
can't buy my happiness. You
Yeah,
can't
because
buy
you,
my
you used to do deployments, right? And
man.
in between ports, it was like how many months or days?
So we'll be out for like 3.5 weeks before we touch land.
Hmm. 8 months, bro. Fuck.
And even when I was in Afghanistan for 9 months, it was fun. Because you have that routine of what you need to do and whatnot. So it was cool, but on a ship you got nowhere to go. You go on
Hmm.
the aft or the bow. Is what 7 levels go down, 4 levels up, and you're only allowed to go on 3 levels up because
Yeah.
the rest captains and admirals, they'd be like, hey, what you doing there? I'm not with that, man. It's not
Yeah.
like you can go anywhere.
So now that yeah, you can't. So now that you're out and you've been collecting disability, yes or no?
Of course.
Attaboy, good shit.
And to be honest, man, I actually had a mental breakdown where I was in a psych ward, man.
Oh shit.
I had found out that I had depression, but I didn't know it was depression.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it's been in my family for a while from like my grandmother, and I found out I had it, and it was like it put things into perspective. So like this baseball thing, man, I had got into a bad relationship. Even when I came back from Afghanistan, I was suffering from it really bad, but baseball was my outlet. That's why I was always, me cracking jokes, and that was my outlet. That was my happiness. I never used to even really go out like that or go to the bars.
That's true.
So it's like I was like in misery in my own little world. So when I started going seeing doctors and whatnot, it kind of put everything in perspective. So
Did you
when I
realize that there was a life outside of that current mindset you were having?
like I always tell people depression feels like you're in a hold, you're in a hole from the neck down and you're literally trying to wiggle your way up. That's how depression feels. That's how exactly how it feels. So imagine
Mm.
yourself at the beach and you're in a hole and you're just trying to get up, wiggling your way out.
Yeah.
That's how depression feels. But the thing is, with depression, you have to find something that's your outlet, whether it's reading books. You literally have to do something every day. That's why me with these kids, man, they saving my life, man. The fact that you can go to someone and they're just smiling at you, and then where it goes back to just a smile changes 30% of your emotions. So when a parent is calling you to ask Where's their kid? Can you tell my son to call me? Because I know he's with you. You go to places and a kid, when a parent comes to you and can you talk to my kid for me? Because he only listens to you. That's like the best feeling in the world, man. I don't have kids yet. So it's like kids like look up to me and I make them happy. It's like the best feeling ever, man. Like the one kid that was the Mets Player of the Year. At one point, we used to pass each other and like, "Hey, what's up?" And because of a, a sphere with laces on it, that's 3 ounces. We became friends.
5 ounces.
So now, yeah, my bad.
Talk of it.
So now, because of this object, I've met friends from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Spain, California, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Portugal, all over. So it's like,
Ireland.
yeah, I'm so appreciative of everything, man. It's like, you know, me helping the kid out who was a Mets Player of the Year, he couldn't hit an inside pitch to save his life. Now he get called up to big league camp where he's on the alternate squad. And he sends me a video of the things we've been working on for 3 weeks. And he hits a home run and say, bro, when I touch down, be back on it. And he's showing me videos. It's the best feeling in the world.
That's beautiful, bro. That's fucking beautiful. So moving forward with everything, are you looking to grow this coaching business for you? Or are you trying to just like keep it humble?
You know, I'm trying to get my chicken. But you know,
I like the extra spice.
of course. But you know, you have to be strategic. And me personally, my strategic thing is the mind. Because the thing is, even if God forbid something happens with you where you break a leg, you get Tommy John, you can never play this game. That mindset can transfer into something else. You just take that passion into something else. But you already have the tools from learning that sport into whatever endeavor. So as
Exactly.
like we talked about earlier, there's a bunch of guys that just talk, oh, hitting mechanics, hit this, hit that, and half of them can't even do it themselves. I think I had put on Instagram a little while back, all these Instagram coaches, let's get this smoke. Somebody get on the mound and see who the best coaches are. I'm with that smoke. Who won it? So my thing is, I try to be different with the mind. I teach more anything with the mind. Yeah, cool. Hitting is cool.
Everything's going to translate after that. Once you got that mindset, man, like once you got that solid self-esteem, like that lockdown confidence, like you know exactly what's going to happen when you go into the box, you get into such a flow state that you become the observer of your own experience. Everything's just on fucking automatic pilot.
But no matter what, every successful person leave telltale signs. Like I show all my kids this old Mike Tyson video. It's like 60 seconds. If you YouTube Mike Tyson, I'm a god. He says, when I'm in my dressing room, I've dreamt about this man. I've dreamt about him beating me. I've dreamt about me beating him. He said, I'm confident, but I'm terrified. He said, the more closer I get more confident, even though I'm terrified. I want to pee myself right now. I'm terrified. He said, the closer I get more confident. He said, I get to the ring, I'm confident. I get between those ropes, I'm a god. I said, ooh. You know the amount of confidence you gotta have? That's why he was destroying folks. 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 6 seconds. It's all in the mind. But see, what people don't understand, he became that raging pit bull where he had that mindset, kill on sight. But the thing is, he destroyed the guy in 14 seconds. he never turned it off. And that's what it played off in his personal life. You look at Floyd Mayweather, he says, yeah, he parties and whatnot. As soon as he's finished with the club, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, those guys are asleep. I'm running. It's a mental edge. I seen a podcast with Gilbert Arenas where he said he took his son to play against like college guys that some NBA guys were his pickup. And his son is only like 12. He said he probably shot 1 for 20. And he said, I just went home and sleep. He said, if I was you, I'd have put up a 1,000 jump shots. I need to see 1,000 jump shots go in. Even though I went for 1 for 20, I need it for my confidence to know the next time I'm on there, I'm going to hit that shot.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're trying to develop as a player. It's like the more experience you get.
No matter what sport it is, everybody leaves a telltale sign of success, but you have to read between the lines. Same thing with Kobe. Kobe leaves all the gems on there. He said, I work out 3 times a day. I put up at least 1,000 jump shots, but see, we're so quick to be negative because, the mind has a governor. If we can succeed our mind to succeed over our emotions, like you were saying earlier, man, I'm going to do this. If you tell a guy, do 1,000 jump shots a day, first thing he'll be like, oh, really, 1,000? That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Not understanding. You do 300 at 4 in the morning. By 6, you take a break. 12 o'clock, you put your other 300. That's 600. You take a break. At 9, 10 o'clock, you put your another 400. That's 1,000 jump shots. So that same guy who did 200 jump shots in that day, by the time he gets to 1,000, you already lapped him about 5 times.
Yep. More experience.
10,000 hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man. I'm glad that we talked about growth mindsets. I think it's
man.
Yeah, it
I'm
was good.
to come see you, man.
I know you got to come out to AZ. You comment on my videos and my posts a lot. Like, where's this at? Where's this at? I'm like, dude, just make your way out here, man. Make your way out here.
I finally got a girlfriend who's like super supportive, and she's willing to go anywhere I want to go. So I'm definitely coming to Arizona.
Fuck yeah, bro. Dude, like this, it's going to be perfect weather here this next, I think once like the middle of October rolls around all the way through March, like we're sitting chilling at probably like the most like 85 degrees, if that. And then nighttime, It's like, dude, it's beautiful. And there's no humidity. So it's good clean air.
My balls are roasting over here with the humidity, man, in South Florida. It's depressing, man. How you have wind and you're tired? Oh, man, it's horrible here, yo.
All right, brother. Yeah, man. So I'm just going to talk to you soon. Yeah, bro. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Anytime, man.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.